Happy New Year! Today is Wednesday, January 2nd, and I am here with Cara Galbavi, my great friend. And some of you know me, some of you may not. I'm Melissa Myers, and I have on my heart a mission to help people in our community. And one of the ways that I help people is by introducing them and getting you familiar with people that you could benefit from. And I think Cara is an amazing woman. She and I have been in some networking groups together for about the last 6 or 7 years. And so in the process of getting to know Cara through these various networking activities, I realized that there's more to Cara than just her profession. So I wanted to talk about her profession and let you know what she does, and then we'll also talk about some other things that make Cara special and unique. So Cara, thank you for agreeing to do this today.
Thank you,
really
my
excited.
friend. I'm very happy to. Very happy to. Thank you.
You're welcome. So Cara helped me recently with a legal matter. I started Sunkissed and Blessed 2 years ago, and I did that because I wanted to give back to the community in the form of having a scholarship fund available through the Community Foundation. And I thought one of the ways that I could do that was to have an income from it, which the income I would put in to start the scholarship fund. And so it started really ticking up at a pace here in 2018 that was sort of surprising to me, and so I thought, well, I better seek legal counsel. And so with Sunkissed and Blessed, Cara helped me establish the LLC as well as get the registration trademarked and all legit. So I'm going to let Cara tell you a little bit about her legal practice and her areas of expertise, so that if you're in a position where you need somebody that you've met online or in person, you've got another resource here at your fingertips. So Cara, tell us.
Yeah, so long story short, graduated law school back in 2002. So I've been at this for a little while, 16 years, going on 17 altogether. 10 years with my own business though, so made that big leap in 2010, March 1st, 2010. I do have specializations, so I don't do a little bit of everything. I do specialize in business, real estate, and estate planning. And when I say specialize, I focus, it's kind of a niche where I help people protect what they've built, and whether that's, a family legacy and their children, or their business assets and their growth that they've done with their business. And so I really like this area of law, and they all seem to merge and mesh together really well. I kind of show my clients with my fingers intertwined that the estate planning, the business law, and the real estate that I do, it's all with regard to succession and long-term planning and meeting goals and objectives. So those are the 3 areas that I focus in, and I really love this type of law. I don't do any divorce or custody or criminal. This is really the areas that I love. I become part of the family, I become part of the business, and have clients long term. I've been doing this on my own now for 8 years, going on 9, just on my own, and since that time I've had businesses, little tiny ones start up with nothing in their bank accounts to now buying buildings and equipment, and just seeing the growth has been phenomenal. So
That's really neat when you have a relationship with your clients, and it's not just transactions here and there. You really get to see the growth of that person and the family and how they all will benefit.
Absolutely. And sometimes it is bittersweet with a family. I might have done an estate plan 5-6 years ago, and now the children are coming to me because the person I did the estate plan for has passed away. And so it gets to be a little bit bittersweet, but I get to see the results of what my clients had intended and see that fulfilled. So that fills my heart, and a lot of satisfaction comes with that.
And that's love, seeing you and your business and how passionate you are. When you start thinking about the estate planning piece, I tell my clients the one of the most loving things you can do for your family and for your heirs is to have your estate plan completed. It's thoughtful, and it just takes a lot of the stress that the family experiences. They're already grieving, but they know that they don't have to work through a legal mess, that they got the right things in the right order.
Yeah, one of the very interesting things about my line of work is I don't want to say my best clients, but my clients that are more reactive and more receptive and quick to act are those that have just had a loss in their own family. And so they know that they don't want to put that on their own family.
Yes.
So they come in to get things in order, and they do it fairly quickly, and are open to the education that I provide them with regard to what needs to be done and what different avenues and tools that we have, because they might not be aware of all of the different options that are available for their planning.
Okay, and I know one that came to my mind through you when we were in networking together was the idea around having the estate plan done prior to going on vacation.
Absolutely,
And
absolutely.
the other one was taking the steps to get your legal documents for your adult child, the 18-year-old, the 19-year-old who might still be under your roof and under your in your wallet to get those things done.
Yeah, and so there are some particular mechanisms that we can use and we can play on, the two that you had just mentioned, especially going away on vacation. And if you're leaving your little ones at home with a loved one, you want to be able to provide those caretakers with the ability to, manage education or handle medical emergencies and do the things that you would do as a parent in an emergency situation, where we drafted legal documentation to give them that temporary power in order to make those decisions for the little ones while you're off and able to thoroughly enjoy your vacation. And then secondly, with the kiddos that go away to college that are no longer kiddos by law, if they're of legal age and adult, I've had friends that come to me asking me, hey, can we do these documents? Can my child come in, do a power of attorney? And a lot of times it's for medical purposes. I don't know if my child will be safe, or if they're going to be, if they get into an accident away at school, who would they actually call? Or, I'm paying for college tuition, but they're not giving me any information on grades and attendance. Well, there's a reason. As an 18-year-old, as a parent of an 18-year-old, I should say, you no longer have that control or that ability to get into their records or make their medical decisions or talk to their schooling faculty. You have to have the proper documents in place, but we can do that. We just all have to come to the table and plan it out before an emergency happens.
Oh, that's really good to be forward thinking. As we're here at the beginning of 2019, are there any legal techniques or anything significant that's been brought about that people should be aware of when it comes to either revising or establishing their estate plan?
Nothing huge. One big thing that people in the last few years have been putting into place, because just their daily activities are bringing it to the forefront of their mind, doing planning for your social media or your online, personality. A lot of people keep all of their photos on Shutterfly, or they keep a lot of their documentation, their photos, their posts on Facebook or other social media sites. So do planning so you have a person that can have access and authority to communicate with those sites, those web pages, to make the authorization to change your pages to memorial pages, or to access all of the information or the photos or the documents that you're storing online, to pull those back out. Because many of the sites, every site has a different terms of use and service. Some sites will say, nope, you merely have a license. If you've put anything on this site, it is now ours. If they find out that you've passed away, they will basically, lock it down so no one can get in. A lot of protection mechanisms. So you want to make sure that there is somebody in play that can step into your shoes and pull those pictures, pull those documents off, or stop the posts from occurring, and just protect your online persona and your online assets.
Wow.
So that's a recent development that we've been able to do. The other thing is kind of a forewarning. The more and more that people do things electronically, the more and more companies are coming out with what seems to be easy, online forms or online templates to do planning. Those products and services are available, but I just want to forewarn everyone that check into that service thoroughly, with a fine-tooth comb. Read their release of liability and their warranties. See what kind of liability risk is there. What sort of guarantees and warranties they're providing you. Because many times they'll just have I don't want to say plug and play, but noun here, pronoun here, and the planning isn't actually done. They don't think about the what ifs or the down the road examples of what might have happened. Just one simple example is just guardianship over a minor child. They might ask you, well, if something happened to you, who would you want to care for your children? Well, that does not break it down into, well, who do you want to handle their money? Or does it handle, well, if it's a husband and wife that you're naming, what happens if they get divorced? What happens if he is downsized and is out of a job and they have to move to a small apartment? Or what happens if they move out of the country for work or just for desire? Do you want your child to, be in that situation and stuck in that situation? Or what if the second and the third scenarios down the road that the online templates and forms just can't think about?
So the personal touch can go a long way to really knowing and understanding the dynamics of that household and those individuals there. And I know special needs planning can be a big issue too, and making sure that those assets are going the right way to the right right resources.
Yeah, absolutely.
So not to jeopardize anything in the future.
So those online services and templates and forms seem like an easy out, and they'll save you a little money up front, but they're going to cost you and your family a lot of time and stress and financial dollars down the road.
Yeah, the DIY can be great if you have expertise, and sometimes it can end up being very costly. So, Cara, what led you to this particular niche
That's interesting.
in law?
Another long story short, out of law school, I actually practiced personal injury for about a year. And it was exciting, and it was adrenaline rush 24/7, in and out of court all day, every day, but also seeing the worst case scenarios with injury, car accidents, little children, newly engaged individuals. It was just very heartbreaking, and my empathy levels could not take it. But I still knew that there was some part of that I liked, taking care of people. And I was working in Grand Rapids at the time. So I found a partner in the Muskegon area who took me under his wing for about 5 years. And I did strictly all litigation. I started doing some real estate litigation, business litigation, contract litigation. And again, that was high adrenaline. I liked what I did day in and day out. You're in court. But what I realized over that period of time is that what they don't show you on TV and those courtroom dramas is with litigation, you actually don't get to meet your clients very often. You don't get to know them. A lot of times you go to court and it's just you. There's a motion day or a hearing. Your clients don't necessarily have to be there, nor should they be some of the time. So a lot of times you're doing your work without actually growing a relationship at all. It's just transactional. And once the case is done and resolved, even if the client has won, they're usually unhappy because they have your bill to pay. But then that's it. You don't have that long-term relationship with your client. And so the attorney I was working for at the time had some medical issues happen, and so I was able to slowly take over his areas of practice, which were the estate planning and business succession creation. That area of law. So I got to see a little glimmer of, this is why he has long-term relationships with these clients, 20, 30 years. And I liked that.
A little aha moment.
Right. The happy side of the law, where you get the cards and the thank yous and the long-term fulfillment of seeing, the growth and being able to take care of clientele. So I had a little glimmer of the reality of that area of law, and so worked my way and finally making some smart decisions that didn't seem smart at the time. They were really nerve-wracking, especially making that leap to go out on my own in 2010. But saying at the end of the day, what is it that I want to do? And it's these areas of law so I can take care of my clients and build these relationships, be here on the lake shore. Sure, I can go to work in Grand Rapids and bill at a rate so much higher than I am here, but the relationship and the quality of the work here is much more satisfying to me.
At the end of the day, you've made the choice that makes you happy at your heart, and that's what I think is one of the most beautiful things about you, is you are a heart-centered woman, and it shows in your friendships, in your professional work, and so I'm really excited to be able to let other people in on that.